This video is sponsored by Webtoon. What are you doing here? Go read Tower of God. The Tower Choosing Bomb. This is what kicks off the entirety of Tower of God. For the first time in hundreds of years, someone other than a resident of the tower was chosen to enter and climb. Typically, Hedon chooses these regulars, but instead, Bomb was worthy to enter, and Bomb is just a boy who is chasing after his star. Season 1 is relatively straightforward. We're introduced to the world of Tower of God. Bomb meets new friends, particularly Kuniguro Anyes, who is from one of the 10 families, and Rak Wraithrazor, who is a mysterious crocodile who likes to call people turtles. Essentially, these friends are being pulled along by Han Sung-yu, who is a core member of an organization called FUG. FUG is a religious zealot group who is trying to take down Jihad and the 10 families. And once this group discovers that Bomb is an irregular, they try to use him to achieve their goals. Ultimately, this succeeds with the help of Hwarayun, who is actually a guide from FUG, and Hansung ends up tricking the entire tower, including Bomb's own friends, into thinking that Bomb is dead. In actuality, FUG has now taken Bomb and started to train him to become a slayer. Fast forward 5 years, and we're introduced to a young man named Wangnan Jia, a simple dude just trying to climb the tower so he can become king. He may seem like a normal guy, but there are a lot of mysterious things about him. For example, he has this ring of Jihad that he gets uncomfortable talking about, and his desire to become king is seemingly out of nowhere. Eventually, he meets this slayer candidate named Juvio Grace, who is eventually revealed to be Bomb himself after years of training with FUG. Bomb has become this apparently cruel, silent, and merciless killer, but after spending some time with Wangnan and other newly found friends, they become a team, and furthermore, after spending years together, they become a family. Team Sweet and Sour is born, and Jin Sung Ha, who is Bomb's mentor and martial arts teacher and master, eventually okays this team. Even if they are not made up of the strongest regulars, Jin Sung thinks that they are good for Bomb in other ways. They go on a series of adventures, including meeting Yurik Mazino himself, who is one of the irregulars who previously entered hundreds of years ago, and eventually a mystery is revealed. The workshop is creating living ignition weapons, and Bomb himself may have been one of those subjects. Another member of their team, Horyong, is revealed to be one of these subjects as well, and after a series of collisions and almost reuniting with Kun's team and this and that, they eventually enter the Workshop Battle. The Workshop Battle is an event hosted by the Workshop, which is the organization that creates all the weapons and items in the tower, to basically have regulars compete for highly prized items. But what ends up happening is a sect of FUG, led by Karaka the Slayer, who was actually a student of Jin Sung like Bomb, tries to merge Bomb with the Thorn. The Thorn is an item left behind by Enryu, another irregular from hundreds of years ago, which apparently has the potential to slay the king's throat. Karaka tries to merge Bomb with this Thorn because Bomb is one of the only people who is able to use this weapon. His plan fails, and his servant Reflejo ends up dying, and Bomb and his friends finally reunite, including Shibisu's team, which was climbing the tower all this time. Fast forward, and Bomb and his friends decide to ride the Hell Train. The Hell Train is basically this train that will take you up a certain number of floors faster, but the tests are pretty grueling and very dangerous. Bomb ends up reuniting with Rachel right before entering the Hell Train, and Rachel is apparently working with FUG. Her reasons are unknown and her motivations are still relatively unclear, but she's using this creation of the workshop called Emily to essentially manipulate people to join her side. Bomb and his friends end up meeting a Slayer candidate on the Hell Train named Joaquin. We find out that Joaquin is actually only one piece of 5 siblings who make up the Slayer White. White is a Slayer from thousands of years ago who was an absolute monstrosity who murdered millions of people and consumed all of their souls to grow stronger. Basically, Joaquin has to merge with his 4 siblings to once again become white. But even after merging with 3 of his 4 remaining siblings, Bomb defeats Joaquin with the power of the souls that Joaquin stole thousands of years ago. Joaquin ends up surviving and ultimately joins Rachel. Meanwhile, Bomb is struggling with all of these new powers that he's acquiring. He's trying to find out what it all means and his true purpose, and if he truly should be the god that FUG wants him to be. And although Kun tries to dissuade Bomb from this path, it still heavily weighs down on him. Also, Wangnan is struggling with a lot of his own insecurities about not being strong enough to support his team. Bomb reunites with Yuri, who he hasn't seen since Chapter 4, and they end up landing at the Name Hunt Station. Bomb and his friends defeat Kaiser, who is the ruler of the Name Hunt Station and has been for 1,000 years, and end up reminding her about who she truly is and why she should actually become her own person. Victorsen, and so Viralaine is reborn. Jinsung Ha, Bomb's mentor, purchases Elaine for unknown reasons, but before leaving the name hunt station, Bomb and all of his friends from all the different teams end up encountering Karaka himself. Yuri is able to fight on par with Karaka and even surpass him in a lot of ways, but Iwa, Danwa, and Rak, 3 members of Bomb's team, end up supposedly falling off of the bridge and possibly even dying. Burdened by these deaths, Bomb and his friends decide to enter the Floor of Death because, even though it's a very dangerous floor, the Floor of Death will supposedly have answers. Meanwhile, Wang Nan is still struggling to become his own person. Him and his team, Team Sweet and Sour, are trying to capture Kasano, who is the reason why their friend Horyong is unconscious. If they're able to capture him, they'll be able to bring back Horyong. However, because Kasano is on a team with Rachel and Joaquin, their plan fails. And Arkraptor and Prince, 2 core members of Team Sweet and Sour, that family, are killed. And Wang Nan is devastated. He's practically forced to join Rachel's team temporarily, the same people who killed his friends. On the Floor of Death, Bomb learns about his past. For the first time, Bomb learns who he is. All the residents of the tower are taught that Jihad entered the tower with the 10 great warriors, but in fact, there were actually 12 great warriors with Jihad. 2 of these warriors were wiped from history, and these 2 warriors are in fact Bomb's parents. V and Arlen fought in a great war with Jihad, and Jihad ended up murdering Bomb thousands of years ago. Arlen left the tower with Bomb's body and ended up giving his body to the outside god of the tower, who apparently resurrects him. It's very much shrouded in mystery, and Rachel is connected to all of this, but we just don't know how. They end up defeating Helljo on the Floor of Death with the help of Yurik Mizuno, and Bomb acquires the second thorn from Po Badao Gustang, one of the 10 family heads. Gustang wants an item on the hidden floor, and so he instructs Bomb to go to this hidden floor to get this item for him. The hidden floor is pretty much the very end of the Hell Train. Only regulars can enter. And so Bomb and his friends enter, and they find Rak. Rak apparently entered through the mirror fragment that Danwa had, which is why he was with Yura, and Yura wanted to get on the hidden floor, and Yura's brother is there, and Yura's brother is actually one of the big breeders of the floor, and that's how Rak entered, because the mirror fragment fell out of Danwa's backpack while they were falling off from the name hunt station, and that's why Rak is there. So it all makes sense. On the hidden floor, they meet the data of old people who used to climb the tower, like Han Sung, Kun Edwan, Kun's father, and Jihad. After being trained by Kun Edwan's data, Bomb fights Jihad and wins. However, Jihad himself is able to infiltrate this hidden floor, and just when he's about to kill Bomb, Bomb's second thorn teleports him out. And that item that Gustang was after is actually captured by Rachel, and Rachel herself almost kills Kun. Bomb is furious and finally cuts ties with Rachel, which he had previously done at the Floor of Death, but this time stating that he will kill her if she ever does something like this again. Meanwhile, Jihad has finally decided to act. He is no longer inactive, and he gives 3 orders to his entire army and all of his subordinates. And so when Bomb and his friends arrive at the last station of the Hell Train, Jihad's army is waiting. A giant battle ensues with Evankel from the 2nd floor and Han Sung arriving. Jin Sung, Bomb's master, ends up fighting Kalavan, who is the squadron commander of the 4th Squadron, which is there. It's a fierce battle, but Jin Sung almost loses his life. And Bomb, devastated, learns to activate even more of his power. And after using the powers of the Thorn, which he learned to control even better on the hidden floor, Bomb truly transcends and lives up to the name of Irregular. Kalavan's squadron ultimately fails because Bomb and his friends escape. Kalavan is demoted, and even though Jihad's army captures Jin Sung, they are at a loss. Bomb the Irregular has escaped. Fast forward a few months and even a couple years, and we get to Season 3. And Bomb is not the same Bomb that we knew in Season 2. This is a newly resolved Bomb whose goal is to take down Kalavan, the one who defeated his master. But to rescue his master, they have to team up with unlikely allies. One of those unlikely allies is Baylord Yama himself, a slayer of Thug who is in control of the canine race of the tower. Meanwhile, Shibisu's team ends up reviving Kun with the power of the Yan Flame, which is a flame that ends up actually going into Kun and becomes one of Kun's powers. This power is able to resurrect people who are close to death and even power them up. But right before Bomb and his friends can prove to Yama that they have what it takes to rescue Jin Sung, chaos ensues. Yama's brothers, who were not even known to the race of canine people, show up again, and they try to take over. And then an elder from Thug arrives and sends Yama to the Wall of Peaceful Coexistence. Stuff happens and everybody who was once at odds, Yama's brothers, Kel, Halam, Bomb's team, they all decide they're on the same page, they need to work together, and they arrive to go save Yama. But then a new villain appears, Lopobia Yesracha, who apparently has the power to control the canine people, and it's found out that he ultimately is the reason they're even able to rule over their own race to begin with. Bomb and his friends arrive at the second Wall of Peaceful Coexistence, and both people at both walls go through a series of events, and both of the war heroes who were trapped in these walls are awoken. Doan, one of the war heroes, decides to join Kaloyan and join Jihad's army because she hates war, and Cha, who is in the other wall, decides to join Bomb. This leads to a giant climactic battle, the first of its kind during this war at the Nest. Kaloyan, who has been demoted, decides to temporarily team up with Bomb to regain his title because the 4th Squadron was destroyed by the new squadron commander. Yama and his brothers want to get revenge for what Lopobia Yesracha did to the canine people, which he wiped them all out, and Bomb wants to rescue his master. And so all of these allies line up to do battle with Lopobia Yesracha and his squadron, which is exactly where Tower of God has ended. Now, there's a lot of things that we skipped over. For example, White. White is no longer Joaquin. Throughout the course of the story, White has been gaining souls and absorbing power, and he finally has merged with his final sibling. The final sibling said, "Only if you allow me to have some control, and only if you're not a total psycho." Well, he still is a total psycho, but he is on the side of the good guys now, and White is practically at his peak, his full power. Wangnan was able to convince Kasano to actually come back and wake Horyang, and as far as we know, that is where their story has left off. Wangnan is still destroyed on the inside because of everything that has happened, but Horyang is now awake. There are many mysteries, many things up in the air that we don't know about. Iwa and Danwa are trying to climb the tower to rejoin the team, but because of this whole debacle with the Nest, are currently incapacitated. And of course, Bomb himself becoming more powerful. At this point, Bomb not only has 2 thorns, but also has the red and blue Thrissa. He's able to use these powers to transcend and become even like a demon himself. He also has the powers of the souls, the ones that were eaten by White thousands of years ago. And he also has the power of the Black March latent inside of him that he absorbed during the last station. Bomb is climbing rapidly, and now that Fug has decided to support him and are actually helping him during this battle at the Nest, who's to say what's going to happen next, who's going to lose their life, who's going to win in these battles, and that's why we cannot wait for Tower of God to return in just about a week. Thanks a lot, everybody. I know I couldn't cover everything, but that is a general recap of Tower of God. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on this video and subscribe for more Tower of God content, especially with the series coming back soon. And a huge thank you to Webtoon once again for sponsoring this video. Guys, you can read Tower of God and a ton of other amazing comics on Webtoon by downloading the Webtoon app, which the link is right down below. And I gotta say, it's super easy, it's free. There's obviously a ton of fantasy, but if you like other genres like mystery or romance or action, they have them sorted by genre, so you can find whatever comic you want to read at any time. Again, huge thank you to Webtoon for sponsoring this video, and with that, I'll see you guys in my next Tower of God video. Take care.